Coffee and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.
Hey, I'm Christian Cano. You're the co-host. My buttons are Moms Demand Action, Gunsmiths Legislation, Healthcare for All, Medicare for All, and also in my heart, Black Lives Matter on behalf of Joe Oldham, who's a guest of ours who passed away last year. That's it.
Hello, this is Jenny James Gunn. I am a community advocate here in Charlotte, North Carolina for LGBT women's rights with the National Organization for Women, gun sense laws with Moms Demand Action, and anything that extends equity to all. Thank you.
Welcome back. Don't forget to join all our Cannis Media shows all summer long. It'll help you stay cool. How's that?
Yeah. I've got a question for you.
Sure.
You ran for Congress, just like Scott Weiner is doing here in California now. And do you think, as a former Democrat politician, as far as running for office, do you think that we should forgive some people's stances on things because Democrats can pivot better than Republicans can? Republicans usually dig in the issue and they never change.
Yeah.
Do you believe most Democrats, if not all Democrats, can change their mind once they get in office? That the most important part is to get Democrats in office and then shape them as they go along?
Yes, I do.
Or do you think they should be perfect on every issue?
No, they're not. They're human beings. The reason I think this article and this event was kind of like touched me a little bit was because when I ran in the second time in 2018, I had ran against Dan McCready, and Dan McCready and his staff, to their credit, gave their job was to beat me. Unfortunately, it wasn't really to beat the Republican. They were more upset at me than they were the Republican. I saw it as I'm trying to toughen him up because I knew I was going to lose that primary. I knew I didn't have the money. But I saw it as this was an opportunity to kind of talk about issues that he's never going to talk about, like gays in the military, transgender military, a lot of issues that I knew he was not going to touch because he was too afraid to. So when I made a comment, when I used the P word, which kind of unraveled our campaign, so to speak, had a lot of females, especially lesbians, who were big supporters of his, who took that opportunity to really come after me, that I wasn't gay, that I was misogynistic and all kinds of stuff. And and I get it. I understand that's how you play the game. Their job was to throw me off, and I understand that. The reason I'm saying this was because that happened in early August of 2018 when that occurred. Actually, I apologize. It's 2017 when that occurred. Pride in Charlotte was the end of August of 2017 of that summer. Andrew and we were already going to be in the Pride Parade, and my campaign manager at the time had actually resigned. So we decided to still be in the Pride Parade because, that's what I've always supported. And I in a minute, we were in the Pride Parade. We were in the car. We were driving down. There was a group of 5 or 6 lesbians who were supporters of Dan McCready, and who were very involved in the LGBT Dems. They followed me at several stops and were yelling, "You're an asshole, fuck you, Christian Cano, you're a bigot." They were yelling. I could hear them because I saw them and they had signs, okay? It didn't bother me because I knew that's how you play the game. Their goal was to try to, I didn't understand what their goal was, but I understand what they were doing. I thought it was humorous because they were doing that, but Dan McCready did not even have the courtesy to be in the Pride Parade. But yet They were knocking me.
Hey, it's Del Shores, and I just wanted to say happy Pride to everybody listening to the Coffee and Pan Dulce Show. I love this show, and right now, during these trying times, it is more important than ever for us to stand up, for people to see who we are, and to be proud. I am proud.
Hi there, it's Jennifer Roberts in Charlotte, former mayor of Charlotte. And I just want to say how wonderful it is that we have a Pride Parade and Festival here every year. It's so great to celebrate with the community, to let people be who they are, to let people love who they are, and to have the whole community share in that celebration, especially in these challenging times when too many people are being targeted just for who they are. So let's go Pride!
Hey y'all, thanks for watching the Florida shows. They've been wildly successful. Obviously, it's a topic that you guys have enjoyed and wanted to know more of. And we like talking about the dumpster fire. It used to be the state of Florida, and we'll probably talk about it some more this summer. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for watching.
Had I reacted like this guy did and blamed lesbians, blamed women, blamed the gay. Had I posted something like, "These angry lesbians, I'm fighting for, you," or whatever, that would have fed directly into what MAGA and Republicans say about them. I just took the heat. I just took it. I gave Andrew a kiss. Right when we went to the announcers, people started clapping because I just thought it was funny. That was the only way I knew how to combat them. I never heard from them. I never heard from them after that because not a lot of people could hear them. But I knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to diminish me in the Pride Parade because Dan was not there and they didn't want me to get any attention. So they were trying to make it into controversy. So when I looked at what this guy did, he could have just as well have either not said anything or said, I want to thank them. I've been attending this for a long time. He played the victim. He made this into they were anti-Semitic people that I'm fearful if I can't be. Imagine if I had done something like that. He's making it about him and not about the office that he's running for. That's why that's why I think this is problematic on how he's handling this, is because he doesn't understand there are going to be passionate people about certain issues. I happen to be very progressive. I just happened to be running against a person who was not progressive. And I had some moderate people who were trying to diminish me in a way. It didn't hurt my feelings. I knew that's what happens when you run for office. The fact that he's making this about him and trying to be the victim.
I've known you since that all happened. We became friends in 2018. Yeah. We met at that NOW meeting. Which ironically, National Organization for Women, and in fact, there's a feminist that introduced you and I, Melba. And the irony of irony is how supportive you are of women, including transgender women, and we've become like siblings. Yeah, and how affirming you've always been to me, even when we've disagreed. You've never been what they accuse you of. Because I knew many of those same women that said, "Oh, I don't know why you do that show with Christian and all that." And I said, so he made a mistake. He fucked up.
Yeah.
What he said was wrong.
Yeah.
But is it he's damned to hell and unforgiven for the rest of your life? Yeah. That's mighty Christian of you.
Yeah.
To fucking hate on him for the rest of his life. He already paid the price. He fucking lost.
Yeah.
He lost the primary to an unqualified Yutz.
Yeah.
You know, like Christian's way more qualified to be in Washington, D.C. than Dan McCready ever was. He not only lost once, but he lost fucking twice.
Yeah.
And once to a dirty cheater and another one to a dickhead.
That's right.
And like if Christian had been in there and the Democratic Party would have thrown 25 million his way, Christian probably would have won. And we'd have Democrat in that office instead of Republican. You know, so, like, not to put too fine of a point of it, but the most important thing is you pivoted in your personal life because you watched what you said, you cleaned up your language, you cleaned up how you publicly stated stuff, especially you were very sensitive to women's needs and so many things. Because I've watched you evolve, and you've evolved a ton to your credit.
Quite honestly,
they think Scott Weiner or Weiner, whatever the fuck his name is.
He's a Weiner.
He's both, and he's not learning from this. And as a politician, you need to learn and pivot.
Exactly. Imagine if he had handled this differently. Imagine if he had said, you know, maybe I have a lot more to learn about the Gaza situation. Maybe I'm going to leave because I understand this is a sensitive issue for you guys, but I just want to let you know that I support you. But I agree with you. I don't want to be a distraction. This is not about me. This is about your pride. This is about transgender. This is about you. I need to start attending organizations so I can learn about how my stance by supporting Israel is hurting maybe even Palestinians, transgender people who live here in the United States.
Yeah.
I need to learn that. Yeah,
imagine
how he could have flipped that.
Oh, he could have easily made it a healing moment.
Exactly.
And you know, it could have been such a wonderful moment for him.
Exactly.
Versus him looking like a shitbag and a bully.
Exactly.
And he used a bully pulpit to intimidate a very marginalized person, people, in a very trying time for transgender people nationally.
Sure.
And to punch down at a 1% like that, a minority of a minority, is just not smart. It was a district that already supports trans people. That Nancy Pelosi's publicly supported trans people and LGBT people over and over again, to the point where they say her husband is gay, you know, and said he got bashed by a gay lover, and that's why he got attacked by a hammer. This is a woman in a woman's district that has been very sensitive and supportive of the LGBT community, is a strong ally. Sure. And now this guy that's a gay man, in the same community with these transgender women and transgender people, fucking turns on him because he's a coward and won't pivot or won't say, yeah, I do need to hear both sides of this thing. I do need to learn and grow from this, and not shout them down. And if his little fifis are hurt because he was asked to leave, you know how many places I've been kicked out of in my life? Like I've been kicked out of. You and I both have been asked to leave a lot of places, especially in Charlotte. You know, and hell, I got kicked out of a place in the over there that has the little food court over there in a deal, because I ordered fries from a different place and carried them into there, even though I was eating stuff from their menu too, because their fries suck. And I got kicked out of a bar and restaurant in Charlotte because I technically outside food, even though I was in a fucking food court. But anyway, you know, people. Politicians should never make it about them. That's a very Trumpian thing to do. That
is exactly that is the feeling that I have got both as a former candidate or as a former nominee, and as just a gay person and as a person watching what happened. The fact that he made it about him gives me from my life experience in looking at other candidates that we followed and nominees, gives you the impression this is the type of person that is always that more likely is going to be a victim. So if he gets into office, if he becomes a congressperson representing it, if he votes on something that is against what the base of the Democratic Party is supporting at the time, he is going to be about him. He's going to say something like, well, the Democratic Party left me. The Democratic Party is, the radical left. It's going to be about him instead of you just aren't in touch with the people that have elected you. And I think it's problematic.
Yeah.
To me, he is showing early signs of someone who's going to be voting against what the mainstream of the Democratic Party is going to be supporting in the future, especially younger people. And that's a problem. We've got to prevent people from, he's like a Fetterman. He's going to be like a Fetterman. He's going to be going against a lot of very progressive people. He's probably going to be calling someone like Mandani, he's going to be saying something derogatory about Mandani, whatever. And those are the type of people that we got to catch early. And so he's showing the early signs. But with all of that, what's really surprising to me is he wants to represent the major city of San Francisco, and he is surprised that people are protesting. That's the base. San Francisco and that whole area, that's the whole, that's them. Exactly. If they didn't, I would be surprised.
I mean, they produce people like Harvey Milk.
Exactly.
They got killed for his beliefs.
Exactly.
And he's very visible. He was really one of the first visible gay men in politics in the United States. And this guy died for his beliefs in support of his community. And especially as a white gay man, he's so Archie Bunker out of this world.
So Harvey Milk,
a very bizarre thing.
Harvey Milk would have been one of those persons who chased him out of that park.
Oh, 100%. He probably would have chased him out with a baseball fucking bat. Like, I mean, this guy was a fighter. He was in the Navy. He was a tough son of a bitch. He was not a shrinking violet. And the irony is instead of sitting down and calmly listening to these people, saying, "Hey, I feel your pain. I understand what you're saying," and said, "I'm here to learn."
Sure. Exactly.
I'm at your mercy. What can you teach me? And I would love to start a dialogue with y'all and learn and progress. As a supposed progressive Democrat, I need to learn from this. Can you teach me something? It still doesn't say you're right or I'm wrong.
Exactly.
What it's saying is I'm willing to listen. I feel your pain, just like Bill Clinton said 30-something years ago. Yeah. He didn't say in that town hall, you guys are completely right on everything. Sure. What I'm saying is I have enough empathy and class and dignity to listen to what you're saying, absorb it, and learn from it. And that's it. Like, that's all they wanted to hear.
And he is, and then we're going to end the show here, but because I didn't want to harp too much on this, but it did. When I read that article, I thought about you. This would be one of those topics if we were at person to person, we'd probably be talking about as we're eating or whatever. And it's one of these things where I would be like, he is a state senator in California. He's now applying for the job as a congressperson. There are views that are different as a state senator that are as a congressperson, because he's going to represent more people, more diversity, different things that are going to impact people. He needs to be able to have the ability to pivot, as we say all the time.
And the House of Representatives votes on a lot of budgetary things, including aid to Israel, aid to Palestine. There is a domestic agenda and an international agenda that is directly part of the job of the House of Representatives. In fact, they're the ones that create every year's budget. Yeah. To name a few things, but it stops and starts in the House. That's the job he's applying for. So international issues do come into play.
Sure.
And this guy has to have the awareness that as a state senator, he didn't have to worry about that.
Exactly. He was
but
dealing
if you're
with
going to
state
apply
issues.
for a job, you got to prove you're qualified and have the skill set for a more larger global stance on things. And you've got to understand what the people in your district prefer you to vote on and vote yes or no. And if they think you're dug your heels into some very hot, touchy issues and they don't align with the progressiveness of that district, you may not be the right guy for the job.
Exactly. Because if I'll be honest with you, if I were a transgender person who lived in the San Francisco area and I saw someone who I get the impression he is very, very big supporter of the state of Israel. That's his thing. Okay.
He's right.
He supports transgender and gay issues as a gay man.
He does.
But that's not his number one issue is like Israel. Okay. I would be concerned that you are willing to stand up for billions of dollars being donated or being given to the state of Israel, the country of Israel. And that money could be used for health care for transgender people. And so maybe in the fact that he doesn't understand how people who are being marginalized and being squeezed out of a lot of basic rights, but yet your biggest concern is something different, you're going to be angry. I'm going to be upset too, you know, and that makes logical sense.
Here is a very salient point. Is when you are in a position like he is right now and that you've been in twice in your lifetime, when you're in this situation, how you act now is what we're going to get when you're in office.
Sure.
That's number
exactly.
one. Yep. Two, you can be a supporter of the Jewish community and support Jewish people's right to exist here in the United States and in Israel.
Exactly.
And be anti-Israel.
Exactly. Because you're
Because I can be against the prime minister of Israel and not agree with the prime minister on the way they're handling their neighbors.
Sure.
Because I don't agree with what Israel's doing at all. But I'm a big supporter of Jewish people. And I want them not to be killed. I don't want Jewish people to ever go to the gas chambers like they did in Germany. I think that was a horrible moment in human history. I definitely want Jewish people to be able to support their faith, be proudly Jewish. There's a large Jewish American community here in LA. It's huge.
Yeah.
So I 100% want them to exist. I don't want anything harm to happen to them because they're Jewish. And I can still support Gaza and their right to exist too. They're not mutually exclusive. I believe that Israel has a right to exist. I believe that the Palestinians have a right to exist. And I think there has to be a solution other than what's going on right now. And I can still be transgender. I can still be queer. I can still be a progressive Democrat. These things can coexist. Scott can be a proud Jewish man. He can love his faith. He can love the country of Israel, but he can disagree with the practices. Just like I disagree with many things that are going on in our country right now. I still love my country, my home. And we have to not buy into the Republican nationalist thing is if you don't love it, you need to leave it now. You know, and which seems not to apply to them when they disagree with this country and when Biden was president. But you can disagree with something and still not hate it. You know, I can disagree with you, Christian, but I don't hate you. I love you as my brother. And but people can disagree and still care about each other, or care about a group of people. And that's a maturity thing. And I just don't think he can learn from his stances and pivot like you did. And like I watched you visibly grow from that issue, the incident, and how you grew and became a stronger, smarter, more mature man because of it. You said, I took my licks. I took my time in the barrel. I know I fucked up. And now you're a better human being and you've become a better broadcaster and a better producer of the shows because of it. You really have. You've grown tenfold since I've known you in 8 years. And you learned from it. It was a teachable moment for you.
Yeah.
And this guy's not learning from it. And that scares me because if this guy does go to Congress and is how he's going to react, because you know he's going to have adversity when you get into Congress. When you get into the National House, it's a dog eat dog world. Ask Jeff Jackson. He's glad to be the Attorney General of North Carolina and not in the Congress. He's like,
you know, I was gonna. I know we've gone way over, and we need to end the show. And I apologize, y'all. But I did have a comment about that. You know, when we talked about the last show about the big dick confidence of some of the Democratic candidates that are out there running, the nominees. I apologize, like Tellerico, Madani, many of them, so to speak.
Is a quiet but confident, strong.
Governor Cooper has big dick confidence.
Yes, he can look at the most ridiculous accusations and stuff like that. Just kind of give that North Carolina boy smile. Yes, and just go, you're fucking crazy, and move on.
Exactly, without saying the word fucking. Yeah, you know, more kind of like bless his heart. You know,
but you're fucking stupid. You know, like what's wrong with you? And kind of like Maul Richards used to do. Yeah. And, you know, especially with the shit he put up during COVID. Oh, my God. I mean, the things that Republicans said about him is just atrocious.
Yeah.
Stein's more, I'm going to do the job.
Yeah.
You elected me for a certain job. He has a little bit different management style.
Sure.
He's not as excitable as Cooper was or a Biden. And it doesn't make him an ineffective person. He handles things a little bit more like Obama did. Yeah. Obama, up until this year, never said anything about the racist things that were said about it. The first time he's ever addressed the birther stuff was this year. And when he made that one joke at the library opening for his presidential library. Because Obama was one of those, you know, like Michelle said all the time, when they go low, we go high. And I think Jeff Jackson and Stein, because of their age and when they come up in the Democratic Party, I think they're very much an Obama Democrat, not a Biden Democrat.
Sure. Yeah.
Biden politics like a street fighter.
Yeah.
When he went Dark Brandon and just nukes people with his wicked tongue, because he does have a wicked sense of humor. Yeah. It's just who Joe Biden is.
Yeah.
And I think there's a difference between a Biden Democrat and a Obama Democrat. An Obama Democrat knows who they are and knows who they ain't, and goes with a more intellectual or dignified response. Yeah. And I think that's who Jeff Jackson is that he's a confident former military, you know, attorney general type. Sure. That goes, yeah, okay. You know, I'm gonna go over here and do my job. You know, I'm gonna go over here and use the $1,000 lawyer words, and I'm going to be smart, and I'm going to be a little folksy, but you're not going to really ruffle me, but I'm not going to get all pissed off and go on an F-bomb tirade, because that's not who I am either. And Stein's not that way either. Yeah. And even Tellerico, to a certain point, he doesn't acknowledge the deal with a lot of vulgarity. He's more of, well, as a Christian, I don't need to lash out. I need to turn the other cheek, address it, and move on in a dignified way. And I think there's two really different types of Democrats out there. I think they're, like I said, I've already named the classes. I think some people go the dignified route. Some people go the nuclear or aggressive route. I think they both they can have swagger to them and confidence to them. They're just based on the personality of the person that's saying it. Sure. You and I, we're both chuckle fucks. We're going to say whatever comes to mind, whether it gets us in trouble or not. There's a certain amount of us, you and I don't have a filter. And I love you, but you don't have much of a filter either. We're both kind of assholes. You know, we're very much cutting that Biden cloth. Like, I would agree. Let's take out the decaps. I would agree. We would be more. Yeah, we would be more in the Biden camp than we would the Obama camp. We're definitely Biden Democrats. We go Dark Brandon a lot on this show. but even on the campaign trail, you did. And I know in some of my public
Yeah.
speaking gigs, I remember one time when they were trying to pass the non-discrimination ordinance, and a reporter asked me or asked our group, and I stepped up to the mic. They go, "Do you think there's a chance that this mostly Democratic city council isn't going to pass it?" And I went to the mic and said, "Only if they're stupid." and you could hear all the reporters giggle and laugh to that remark. You're like, "Oh, well, that's enough said." And I was like, I mean, it's about dignity and human dignity and human rights. And if they can't see that, they're not as smart as I thought they were, and just left it at that, you know. And it was not probably the most diplomatic answer, or the right answer, but it was to the point. I cut to the quick, and you're the same way. Because we equally bash Democrats as much as Republicans.
Yes,
and we both have sharp tongues. And you know, as Tonto said, we speak with certain forked tongue, you know. And it's just I think it's based on the wiring of the person. And I think one thing all politicians you need to remember is be true to yourself. And I think that's in life. I think you can be true to yourself and still do the right thing. And I think Weiner did the wrong thing here in California. I think the Jeff Jacksons, the Josh Steins of the world do the right things. And I think that's why the Josh Steins and Jeff Jacksons, for the most part, have been very successful in politics. But I think there's room in the party for both.
No, and that's a perfect. That's a, you know, the way you worded that was excellent. That is the big difference between someone like a Tellerico, a Mondani, even a Jeff Jackson, a Jeff Stein, a Roy Cooper. Very rarely are they going to walk into a group like this, and it doesn't have to be transgender, just any group, and they are not so diehard to one issue that it's going to upset a certain part of their base, you know. And so the fact that this guy is so diehard about the Israeli, you know, support, so to speak, was the reason that there is the base that is doing this. Jeff Jackson may not support the Gaza. I don't know that either or, but he hasn't laid, you know, that's not his image, who he is. You know what I mean? That he's smart enough to know that you can't alienate 70% of your young base, because 70% of the young Democrats support Gaza and are concerned about the people dying in Gaza, you know?
And a person like Jeff Jackson or James Tellerico are smarter than that.
Exactly.
If you want to get down to the brass tacks of it,
exactly. That's exactly
they're not dumb
right.
fucks.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
You don't get to be an invited guest into somebody's space and act like a dick.
Exactly.
And we say this about Trump all the time. You can be anything but a dick and or a wiener. And just don't be a wiener, you know, be a whiner, but don't be a wiener. And don't go into somebody's personal space, their safe space.
Sure.
And then cry about it when you disagree with them, because it's not your place to disagree. You're supposed to go there to be seen, support, and learn, no matter what the issue is. And you're exactly right. He was a bad house guest. He was like, he went into somebody's house, reached in their refrigerator without permission, and then pissed all over the couch, and then left, and then bitched about them.
I was also
pissed on the couch. And
I was
took the
also
beer out of the refrigerator. You know,
it also gave me a little bit of insight into this the Advocate has been around since, I believe, the 80s. It used to be a magazine. Now it's an online, you know, publication and so forth. It gave me the insight into who runs the Advocate and who they're after. It's obvious. Yes, exactly. It is an older white men publication, because the way they portray the transgender people by only quoting this whiners side of it, saying that, you know, he was chased out, and quoting people saying these transgender people are anti-Semitic and it's not a safe space for him, without going to the other side and without any objective saying, well, he probably should have not gone to that, knowing that this group of individuals were so passionate about this issue,
Well,
and so
the
that
Advocate is
tells
going
me
the same way the New York Times has gone, which is very supportive of fascists and Zionists. Is New York Times has really shit the bed. It's turned into the New York Post, which means you really don't need both of them anymore. It's their kowtowing to the worst of our society, and the Advocate, unfortunately, unlike a lot of other LGBT publications,
there's a lot more that you can take a look at. Exactly. Yeah.
Sure. The Advocate is very much shit the bed on this particular thing, and I've read a lot of problematic.
This is one of those examples where if you're not familiar with who this person is, take the time to maybe look at this same event from the Pink News perspective. Maybe look at it from a different reporting perspective, not just the Advocate. Because I don't know anything about this guy, but this does give me the impression now, just from what I read. I don't know if he's in a primary. I would be interested in supporting somebody who's running against him in the primary, because I don't want someone who is this dumb, to represent that district.
He already secured them. We've already had the primaries here in California, so he's the nominee.
You're right. So then he has it already. So then this is
It's another reason he was probably felt entitled to be a dick,
because he's going to be representing them, and
that was their big concern. Is you got the nomination, and you're replacing Nancy Pelosi theoretically.
Sure.
She's been amazing. Yeah. And it has at least been a good listener. And now you're coming up here being a dick.
So here's the deal. So full disclosure, because we need to keep our episodes shorter so we can drop them on our platforms, we're going to divide this episode into 2 episodes, and we're probably going to name it after this individual, Scott Weiner or Scott Weiner or whatever. I guarantee you, if he watches this episode, or if his staff watches this episode, you and I will be labeled anti-Semitic.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, I've been labeled anti-Semitic before because I've been against the responses of Israel and how unbalanced the situation, long story short, in Palestine and Israel. It's a very unsymmetrical balance of power between a very wealthy, powerful Israel and a very poor, non-powerful Palestine minority. And just in life, Israel's punched down against Palestine since Palestine was formed. And even before that, the same thing can be said about Wienerhead and that trans group. He went into a minority of a minority's home
and then played the victim
and then swinged his big dick around, pushing people
or a little
around.
dick.
And in his case, a very small.
Yeah, because guys with big dick don't have to be victims like that. Yeah,
you're a shitty house guest. It's time for you to leave. Don't come in here blustering when you should be learning. You should be learning from your constituents and your possible employers. But now he's burnt that bridge. He's burnt that bridge for every ally of the trans community. He's lost votes over this. I guarantee you it's going to be an issue this fall. And in the next primary, 2 years from now,
he'll be primary.
2.5 years from now.
Yeah.
He's guaranteed he set himself up for probably a primary because another queer candidate will run in that district and they will shellac him. He's going to be a one-term wonder.
So you and I have been doing this for a while. You and I know the volunteers that volunteer for campaigns. We know the young people who are working for these elected officials, working for the party, a lot of transgender people, a lot of very progressive people who support Palestine, who support, want to minimize the people being killed in Gaza. These are people that run campaigns like this. Not older white guys, not people who read The Advocate. They may be the people who donate and run magazines, but they're not the people who run campaigns. You're exactly right. If he does not try to recover and humble himself and eat some humble pie. The fact that he said, I've been supporting this thing for 22 years and it's not about you, boo. It's about them. It's not about you. So what if you couldn't go to one of them? It was not about you. And that shows that that it's all about him. If he has the ability to eat some humble pie, my posting about that, I threw him under the bus. I don't want to be divisive with this. I need to learn. I need to be a better person. I need to do this kind of thing. I need to not be a victim. If he doesn't do that before he gets elected and after, I agree with you. There will be people like you and me. There will be people who are reading this article who will be looking and supporting people to run against him. And he will be a one-term person, and he can go back and he can, he can cry and do the things that he does. Yeah.
As a general manager of large franchise hotels in your career,
Sure.
you did that for what, 20 something years?
30 years. Yeah.
You probably managed thousands of people over your career.
Yeah.
So you had to make hiring decisions and employment decisions. If you had a current employee that continually did not learn and cause problems with guests, what would you do with them?
We'd find a replacement. We'd send him back into what I used to say, we'd send him back into the industry.
Yeah.
We would send him to something that would make him happier, or her, or the person, whoever the person. Yeah. Yes.
There's your answer.
Yeah. So,
and this guy is applying for a job.
Yeah.
He's kind of on the job because he's the nominee. He's on a current job with the Democratic Party right now in the state Senate. This guy should know better.
Yeah.
And the voters, maybe not this time, but the next primary in 2028 are probably going to fire this guy because he's untrainable. In most employment deals, unless there's a lot of nepotism, he's probably going to be, as we used to say in the resort industry, back on the interstate and BOI.
Well, I could say if I was running this person's campaign, I would be very upset of this advocate article, because the way the article wrote this and the way he comes across as a whining, not making fun of his name, but as a whining victim. And he had little dick confidence in this thing. And if I didn't know who he was, and if I was living in the San Francisco area and I was supporting him, I'd be like, there was no reason for that. Why would you do that? Why would you throw those people under the bus like that?
Well,
I mean, just shut up.
With it being a 80-90% Democrat district, historically, he will win this fall, most likely. Yeah. But he won't make it past the primary next time.
Unless he changes.
He's going to have to change a whole lot.
I don't think he's going to. I have very little. I got the impression from this interview, and that's the fault of the advocate for making it sound that way too. But if I was him too, I would post the advocate article does not represent who I am. What is it? It's not where my heart is. What all the racists say all the time. It's not reflecting of who I am. I'm not. Yes.
I've seen it.
This is not. This is not who I am. I know. I know. I have a face for radio. I'm looking at this picture right now, and I really need to turn this off. But that was a sharp tongue comment. I apologize, but but I
think he's got a lot of explaining to do. And he's this is not gonna go away real easy for him. Because he's in a wildly, extremely progressive district. That's gonna forgive for a little bit. But they're never gonna forget.
And it's gonna pop up again.
Just knowing how many bulldogs are in the trans community. They're going to clamp onto his leg like a rabid dog and bear down on him. And I think they're very much going to be a pain in the ass.
And now, as they should.
And as they in the future. And I don't think next time he's going to do so well. But he's got a lot of explaining to do. He's got a lot of. He's going to have to put out a lot of fires, and he's going to have to show he's capable of change and adapting to this world. Because in the court of public opinion, that does matter. It does matter.
It does.
That's where politicians running for office and continually running for office have to be held accountable for what they do, word and deed wise.
And you can you can always
part
measure
of your
a candidate. Yeah, and you can always measure a candidate. I'm going to paraphrase this. I'm going to mutilate it. You can always measure a person and a candidate, but where they stand for the most marginalized community that they represent and they support. And the fact that he was willing to throw the most marginalized community in a most marginalized community city is, to me, speaks volumes of who he is, as his character is, and how he wants to present himself. And that is that was disturbing when I read this. So, anywho,
because living in California, both in LA and San Francisco, most of those two cities are extremely diverse.
Sure.
When you go to, there's a shopping center development here called the Grove. It's very, very famous, very well known. It's a beautiful deal. It has a huge year-round, everyday farmers market. And when you walk through there, it looks like a United Nations. You see everything. You see celebrities. You see every nationality. You hear multiple languages. With the World Cup being in here, you see just about every country's jersey that's here in town represented there. It's very extremely diverse. And the same way, if you go to Universal or any of the public places here in LA, it's most of the city is very, very international, very, very diverse. And San Francisco is the same way, especially like I think the Castros in his district. I mean, there's a very, very every walk of life, gay, straight, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, atheist, every kind of walk of life exists in his district. And he's going to have to learn tolerance, acceptance, and open-mindedness.
Sure.
Or he's going to have a very short career in the National Congress. And
as he should.
As he should. Because if you're in a monolithic area like, I don't know, Lubbock, Texas, where 90% of the people are conservative, or at least the ones that vote, and they've rubber stamped Republican candidates for a long time, you don't have to be that diverse. You just have to support agriculture, Texas Tech, and a couple other things, and foosball, and you're good. In his district, there's a million different things.
Can I give you an example of how this is probably going to impact him, or at least I hope it impacts him, and how I don't think he thought national wise how this may impact him. When he gets elected, he will be a gay Jewish congressperson from San Francisco. Okay, and there aren't a lot of gay. There aren't a lot of gay Jewish Congress people in Congress. All right, and a Democrat. There will be HRC dinners around the country in all major cities. You know, we go to the one in Charlotte, DC, Dallas, every major city. They're always looking for speakers to speak at these HRC dinners or these fundraisers, and are even, let's say the LGBT Dems of North Carolina may have a convention or a conference or something. They're always looking for speakers to speak at these. The people who are on these committee, there are transgender people. There are young people who support Gaza. There are very progressive people. There are moderates. There are all kinds of people. If his name is brought up as possibly a speaker, there's going to be pushback from people who say, I don't want this guy coming to speak to us. I don't want him at the HRC gala. I don't want him at this. So this is going to not just impact him from the group that here, but it will also impact him and in his ability to go and speak to groups outside of San. Maybe he'll be able to speak to the gay Democrats of Omaha, Nebraska, or maybe he'll be able to go speak to the gay Democrats of Waco, Texas. I'm using, that may not have that diversity, but I can tell you if I knew that he was going to be speaking at the HRC gala in Charlotte next year, I would not get a table. I would actually say to them, I would protest it. I would, or if we did, because we got a table last year, we'll probably get a table next year. I would get up and walk out, or I would support those who are protesting against him. So I would do that.
That's an extremely good point. In the lifeblood of politicians is to go to engagements like that.
Yeah.
Whether it's for an honorarium for their campaign and or just for visibility's sake, he's going to really struggle here in California. As far as engagements are concerned, he might get elected just because of the structure of that district and the fact that Dems are going to rather have that than a Republican in that district.
Sure. Yeah.
But his support over the next 2 years, just like anybody in the National Congress, especially the House, because they got to run for office every 2 years. Every other year, they're running for office to keep their job. Is going to be critical early in that career at burning a bridge and having such a horrible incident, a preventable horrible incident, is going to call into question whether he's a viable long-term person in the party, whether he is an adequate representative of us, and most of all, it is going to probably shut the doors on those type of engagements. And that is a very salient point, because at the end of the day, as you know, on the campaign trail, not being able to get in front of people in these different events, these different pop-up events.
I mean,
can you imagine of a campaign?
I mean, can you imagine him being the Grand Marshal of the West Hollywood Pride Parade?
It would never happen.
Let's say if he did, they would be protesters.
Kathy Hilton, that's a great example. So Kathy Hilton was the nominated Grand Marshal. Her husband Steve was running for the governor of California as a Republican. People protested so much they removed her before the parade happened, like a week or two before, and said, if you go, we're not coming. And there was a lot of pressure from the press, the local media. And they canceled her. They canceled her rich ass. And they put somebody else up. There was a queer in the community up as the Grand Marshal. She got 86.
I could actually see him winning November. What's the election day? I can't remember. Anyway, the midterms, early November. I could see him being invited, and I could actually realistically see this. I could see him being invited to maybe participate or be Grand Marshal in the Palm Springs, because it's older, conservative, kind of white guys, the Palm Springs Pride Parade. But I could see a lot of protesters being there, and I would join them because I know what I know now. I would go, hey, Andrew, I'm going to go ahead and get a sign, and I'm going to, protest it, because the organizers of that Pride Parade are younger, are more progressive. There's transgender people. It would be a slap to their face for him to say that these transgender people are anti-Semitic, because he was against, not because he's at their event. It's not like they went to his event. It's not like they went to his event to protest.
He was invited guest. That's why.
He was at to your point, he was at their house in their refrigerator.
And pissed on their couch, and probably slapped their dog. You just don't do that. At the very least, it's a lack of awareness and manners.
Sure.
And most likely it's just because he's got bad judgment and he's an asshole, which is a terrible. That's why we don't like MAGA. Like most people don't like MAGA is because that same freaking reason. It's why MAGA men are trying to push the narrative that it's a loneliness epidemic. It's like, no, it's because you're assholes.
Exactly.
Progressive men don't have loneliness.
Exactly. So we just found the title. Yeah, we just found the title. We're going to divide this episode into two. The first episode is going to be Democrats with big dick confidence. And then the second episode, because we're going to do part 2, we'll drop them on the same day, will be Democrats with little dick confidence. And we'll put his face on there. We'll put Fetterman's face on here. We'll put all the So, now we know. So if you're watching Scott Wiener, and I hope you do watch this episode, you're welcome to explain to us how you plan to recover. Hey, would you?
I'd love to have him on the show.
Oh, yeah. Would you?
I'd love to have him on the show.
Oh,
I mean, honestly.
Hey, you know what? Explain to us.
Members, if y'all would like to schedule out, reach out to Christian.
Yeah.
And I would totally
We'd
support
love to-
that because I'd love to ask him some key questions
Yeah.
about who raised him, and just, I mean, you know, if he's willing to learn and grow, it'd be great to have him on. Anyway,
Sure.
it would make for a great
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
And I'd be happy to have a
We would.
state
We
wiener
would love to have a wiener on the show. So
that's a whole different episode.
I'm sorry,
All right,
that's another show that we do. I apologize to our listeners. All right, listen, if you stayed with us, I appreciate it. Thank you so, Gersemi, thank you for your time. I've tried to keep this short. We went double over. I sincerely apologize. So thank everyone for joining us. We'll see you next week in Coffee and Pan Dulce. When you watch us, it'll be the third week of anyway, some week in July. So we will dance out. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching as always. And we cranked out a double episode. So this commercial will apply to both part 1 and part 2. But we had some great content, some great jokes at some people's expenses. And we did an old school long-winded double. But anyway, I hope you stick with us on both of them. There is some treasures in there. And some great conversations on political accountability. So we'll see you next week, and happy birthday, America.
That's right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Coffee and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.
Sounds
You
great.
sounded like a telenova. I mean,
I'm trying this. All I have to say is go. Yes.
as a non-Spanish speaker.
All right, let's talk about his Jesus Jesus meme. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, that'll be the show. All right, here we go. Okay, so we'll just take this last commercial and then we'll come back. All right, here we go.
And this is the Jenny Award.
And this is the Pendejo Chronicles. Coffee and Pan Dulce. How's that? Coffee and Pan Dulce.